Pro wrestling talk from the four corners of parts unknown. This is That Wrestling Podcast.
Welcome to That Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, Brian, alongside Mr. Joe T. We've got Survivor's biggest fanatic, Kevin, and the hot
Give it to me.
Kid himself.
Give it to me. Hot Take
Jason.
Kid. Mr. WrestleMania. Greatest gift giver ever. I'm all of those.
What will you have in store for us this week? We cannot wait to find out. The world awaits with bated breath.
I got some.
All right, we'll get to it. First, let's get to what are you wearing?
What are you wearing? What are you wearing? What are you wearing today? What are you wearing? What are you wearing? What are you wearing today?
All right. Your shirt your shirt is a statement. And I'm not talking about Kevin or Joe. So go ahead, amigo.
So from Pro Wrestling Tees, this is CM Punk Sucks. It's funny, but not really because it was from his store.
Yeah.
If it was like somebody else that had it, like if it was an MJF thing, no. I just thought it was funny. And I'm wearing it. I'm just, like I said last week, I'm just tired of Punk winning every week.
Yeah.
Whether it's a young guy, a veteran, he always wins. So for me, it's CM Punk Sucks from Pro Wrestling Tees.
Cena was right back in the day. He flipped it on Cena, but I would say Punk's become the New York Yankees and how that goes. But we'll get into what he was up to on Dynamite later on. Go ahead, Kevin. What are you wearing for us tonight?
Getting back on track to complete out the Rumble victories. I'm wearing the American Dream, baby.
That's right.
The American Dream, Dusty Rhodes homage shirt. He's got big old boobies on it. You can see they are large and in charge. But I love the retros and it, of course, homage shirts are so comfy. And with Cody coming back, I was like, you know what? This is a perfect opportunity for me to wear it.
Homage has a 4 for 100 up right now.
I
bought it. I bought 4 non-wrestling homage shirts. That's the first time ever I've made a purchase that was not homage wrestling. So
I didn't know that existed. That's good.
They sell fleeces.
They have Penn State stuff too.
Oh, okay. All right. Christmas gift on the way.
The only one they didn't have yet was the Paterno New shirt. They don't have that one yet.
Yeah, so it must be all sold out. Funky like a monkey, baby. American Dream. All right, Joe, what you got, my friend?
I got one of the first WrestleMania winning shirts that I have. It's the DX. It's a more recent one, like their Last Stand, where it's the green X with the cross and has the Triple H skull, Shawn's cross, and it's just Shawn and Triple H on this one. I got this one instead of getting the one I used to have, which was the one that said 2-word suck it, because when I had that original shirt, I was 18. I'm 42 now. It doesn't really fit in like my lifestyle anymore to be that degenerate.
Well, you wear it because you can wear it to church.
Oh yeah,
it's a church shirt now.
It's now a church shirt. Yeah, and it's also good to hang around the kids at the school. No.
Peace be with you, Joe. Yes, peace
and also with you.
That's right. Religion podcast.
I'm supporting Liv Morgan. DTA Liv. Don't
you're the one.
Anyone. Rhea Ripley took care of her ass after they lost again this week. So Liv, if you're listening, just know that I would never turn my back on you, baby. All right. Let's start.
That just proves Rhea's a terrible tag team partner. How many more partners can she not work with?
Right.
How many partners are they going to partner her up that are not good enough for her?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, if there's someone in a goth phase, they can maybe Cora Jade goes into goth phase when she gets called up to the main roster and they pair them up too.
They have to change her name, which will be coming later.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Jada Cora.
Good tease for an upcoming 5 count later on the show. We will start off though by sharing news on something we touched on last week about when we covered Bully Ray. Bubba Ray Dudley on the Broken Skull sessions, that we couldn't wait to hear Austin interview Kevin Owens to talk about the WrestleMania match. I think Joe mentioned that. And I mentioned how we hadn't heard from Steve yet after Mania about how his thoughts on how it went, how he's doing. Well, now we have. He appeared on the Brewbound podcast, and Steve said, quote, "Sunday, I was 100%. And of course, went back into on Sunday to deliver a little bit of extra physicality as part of the show. It was an exciting time for me to go back to a business that I really, really love. I never thought I'd be back in the ring, but there we were, headlining WrestleMania for night one, and it was an honor to be out there." He continued on. He was asked about possibly returning for WrestleMania 39. He says, "For me to participate at WrestleMania 38, if you told me you're going to be part of WrestleMania 38, not only that, you're going to main event night one, I would have said that you're full of shit and you're crazy. There I was in Dallas, headlining, Never say never, but I would imagine within the scope of that show, it's going to be a big show in a big time city, 2-night event. I'm sure I'm done wrestling per se, but as part of WWE, I can't imagine that I won't be there in some capacity. I'm not booking the show. Vince does that, and he calls me, I'll be there." What do you make of it? You know, how it sounds like Austin's down for doing more with WWE. Is this exciting for you? Are you lukewarm? Where do you think about future Austin appearances? Go ahead, Jay.
Joe rose his hand. He can go first.
Yeah, my hand.
Go
I'm just going to say there's really only one thing I can see happening. Crown Jewel, Austin, Goldberg.
Oh my God.
It would finally happen, and that would be the place to do it, because they would be like, you know, hey, that's recent. So, yeah, that's where the old guys come back. That's where Sean came back.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
Austin, Goldberg, Crown Jewel.
I will see your Goldberg and raise you Hulk Hogan.
Ooh.
Versus Austin. We can
Triple
finally
threat,
get it.
brother.
Okay, well, even better. I don't know if you saw the footage. Ric Flair was rolling around with Jay Lethal this week.
Oh, Jesus.
Flair, Hogan, Austin, Goldberg. Fatal four-way, which could be really fatal in Saudi Arabia for Allah in 6.
Man, Hogan's going to break both hips then.
Book in the country right
The
here on
hot
that
take
Wrestling
kid
Podcast.
strikes again.
You know, the Prince would love a fatal
one more.
four-way.
Hogan, Flair, Austin, Goldberg, Undertaker, Shawn Michaels.
Oh my God.
Six-way, a 6-man tag.
And Triple H is the referee.
Yes, yes.
And he can be all emotional like it was Sean was at WrestleMania 28.
Do we have something for Kevin Nash? I mean, he needs to be in there too somehow.
Can we just have a battle royal? Just throw a battle royal.
Only if the Iron Sheik wins it again.
Yes, defend the WrestleMania 17 title.
Buck Hulk
that's
Hogan,
actually
Bubba.
good. That's really good, Joe. Honestly, like obviously we joke about all the other stuff, but Austin Goldberg would be fun, I think, because of the video packages the WWE could put together. I think they can make that an interesting story. Honestly, for me, I just think Stone Cold needs to stay away. Maybe show up around Survivor Series. I'm sure he has some sort of anniversary celebration at Survivor Series. Maybe the Royal Rumble, and then that sets up whatever he's going to do for Mania.
How about this? Hogan, or not Hogan.
No.
Damn you for saying Hogan. Austin versus The Rock, night one of Mania. Hear me out. Roman against TBD, night one of Mania. Rock beats Austin again, okay, to close out night one. Roman then comes in the ring face to face with The Rock. They headline night two because it's going to sell out in LA. So you're not going to need to advertise that. Use it as a surprise. Joe, don't shake your head. I thought about this in like 10 seconds.
Obviously.
Rock's not working 2 nights in a row, I don't think.
He might.
Well, I don't really want to see The Rock because he is, what's the point? He's not going to win the belt and end the Roman Empire. There's no reason for The Rock to come back. to piggyback off of my super hot take from last week, the only main event for WrestleMania 39 is Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and a returning Jon Moxley in a Shield triple threat that we never got. That closes WrestleMania Night 2.
I love it. I don't see it happening, but we never say never, right? I am totally fine with not seeing Austin for a long, long time. I don't think it's going to get better than what happened at Mania. The physicality, the outside the ring, the taking the bumps, it was great. And I just think anything next, I don't know if they can top it. I don't want Steve to try to top it. Go out when you're on the high note, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. Look, nothing will get better. You know, we all joke about, you know, Goldberg and Rock, but I think you're on the right track. Just, you know, stay away, come back, hit some stunners, catch some beers, maybe something with Pat McAfee. I don't know if you guys saw, McAfee posted some photos of backs in Gorilla after the segment, and it's Austin and McAfee.
Okay.
And apparently Triple H is the one that took the photos.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. He talked about that today on his show. And I don't know. I did pick up a shirt from McAfee's store, so you'll be seeing that in a few weeks. That's pro wrestling related, so it does work for What Are You Wearing?
If we do get Austin and Goldberg, maybe I can finally get that Austin Goldberg shirt that I ordered in college. I never got twice. So maybe
Austin rules, Goldberg sucks.
Yes.
Is Goldberg.
I'll come back around. So I'm pulling for that point of it at least. LA Knight, he's been in the rumor mill for a little about being called up to the main roster. Well, that may be the case, but not what we would have expected, because LA debuted a manager gimmick at last Friday's SmackDown in a dark match before the show. He was dressed in a suit and tie, and he announced the creation of Night Model Management in his first client. Former member of a group, a huge fan of Jason, Retribution, member Mace. And according to PW Insider, this was more or less a tryout segment for Knight in a potential managerial role. We'll see what WWE brass thought of this audition. What do you think of this possible managerial role? I'll let you start, Kev.
We've all watched the video, right? It was great. It was fantastic. He made me interested in what did he face?
You see Mace, I see face.
Yeah. It was just electric on the mic, as we know, which him not wrestling kind of stinks. But 50% of my enjoyment watching professional wrestling are the promos and on the mic skills. If he can do his craft, I will be bummed. I will say that. I still will be bummed. But having me watch him get interested in face, it gets me a little excited. It truly does. The whole, what is it, Night Model Management. Yeah, kind of seems like a little ripoff of what Robert Stone or
but much better than Robert Stone.
Oh, way better. But it was fantastic. I want him on the main roster just because, give him a shot, at least on the main roster. Perfect. If he does great and he gets in the ring versus staying in NXT and being sports entertainer there, put him on the main roster. Let him kick butt on the mic and then have a chance in the ring. Maybe.
I mean, it's obvious we all want him as a wrestler on the main roster. I mean, that's obvious. But unfortunately, he's not getting that option right now. So he is making the most of what he has. And who's to say that he doesn't get in the ring? I mean, we know that there have been times where they have put managers in tag matches, and at least they got a manager that can actually work. I'm all in for Night Model Management. Sign me up for this face.
Joe?
I didn't see him making a splash on the main roster anyway, with his age and everything like that. He's entertaining, but he's too much of I didn't see him winning at all. So him coming up as a manager I thought two things. Number one, I'm guessing this was probably the position they wanted Adam Cole to portray.
That was a rumor. Yep. Mm-hmm.
But number two, why can't he wrestle? MVP does. He's a manager, and he won the U.S. Championship while managing the Hurt Business at one point. So why can't he do both? Get himself a stable and manage his brand. And I'm just glad someone mentioned, just don't have it be like the Robert Stone brand, and he's good. So I'm all in as well.
He is so talented on the mic. So I totally get the connection of he'll do great in this role. I have no doubt about it in my mind. For me, I just wish that this was the role for him 5 years from now. I'd love to see him just do his thing. He's got a great physique, obviously amazing mic skills, and he's a really good wrestler, Jay. You saw him against Gunther at Stand and Deliver. Right?
And I've seen him on the LA Indies before he got signed to NXT. I saw him in a room about as big as this closet that I'm broadcasting out of, and it was awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
He's talented. He's not, he's not the best wrestler, but he's completely capable of doing quality matches. So,
in fact, I saw Eli Drake against Killer Cross.
Yeah,
at an indie show in LA like 3 years ago.
Little NXT future alumni match too soon to come. So I want him to have his full potential. And I think him being a wrestler, he really could. He could be a big time player, maybe not main event player, but he could really be in the mix. So, while I don't hate this managerial role, not what I was hoping for. We'll see how it goes, I suppose. If it actually does come to fruition, you never know. And we know that Kalamazoo Day is still in play.
Yes, it is.
Yes. All right. A couple months ago, when NXT shifted from the black and gold brand to NXT 2.0, it was during the time when Triple H was sidelined with the heart ailment. And when all these changes were going down, we're wondering, this was Triple H's creation. What does he think about this dismantling of NXT? And he did an interview with The Athletic, and Triple H said there was this point where NXT was on the WWE network. It had this cult following, and we need to get on television. So how do we do that? We need more experience, need to professionalize this a little bit to make the product to where fans want to see it. We got them to that place, and then the pandemic messed it up a little bit. It was right when we went on TV. We had to shift focus, completely altered what we were doing. We couldn't recruit or train talent for almost 2 years, but the show stayed. Then we said, okay, let's reboot it and go back to what we originally were. And he said, some of these people, they won't be ready for television, but we're going to put them on television. And we believe the audience is invested enough that the numbers might come down, but a core group of them will stay, and we're creating fresh stars all the time. And that's where they're at now. The numbers have stabilized. He continued on talking about the roster. He said, they're not all quite ready to be in that major league role yet, but you're discovering them before they became household names. We were talking about this shift anyway, and that's where we were headed. And he said it happened, when I had to leave for a little bit, and Shawn Michaels, picked up the job and made it a seamless thing. What's your reaction to that, guys? You think Triple H is being completely full of honesty there, or is he going, son of a bitch, Adam Cole and Keith Lee, I miss you?
I don't think that. Actually, you know what? I do believe that was the plan all along. If you thought Triple H was going to just bash WWE or, slam the company for making the changes, that's not what was going to happen. Even if he doesn't believe this, he's a company guy. It's his family's business company. So overall, it is what it is. I like what NXT 2.0 has become. I like getting new stars. And more importantly for the company, they are getting people trained in their way. There's no bad habits. We'll get into this letter thing that Vince wrote later about names and IP and stuff, but I don't know. People are like thinking Triple H is full of shit, and I don't. I believe 100% that he was behind this. He was behind the creation of NXT, and just because there's a color change and a new direction, that doesn't mean he's not behind it. He wants what's best for the business.
No, I'll piggyback off that. I fully agree with you. I thought the article was really, it was honesty, right? And I think he hit a good point when he was like, yes, some of these, people are not ready for TV. Because I watch NXT and sometimes I'm like, ooh, that was bad. Like a backstage segment, but I compare it to Raw. I compare it to SmackDown. I compare it to AEW, like the high quality type stuff. And I forget sometimes I'm like, okay, I don't know this person, and maybe I don't know this person for a reason, but I see the improvements happening. I think he's just, starting from ground one type situation. You're going to see some household names, but then you're going to see a lot of people you have no idea who they are. Be patient. I think be patient is the key words from reading that article. And I think he'd rather, just be very straight and honest. If they were planning on doing it, perfect. Be straight and honest and say, hey, we know that it's going to be lackluster at times, but these guys are also, what do you say?
Green.
Yeah, Braun Breaker, less than 1 year of training.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sometimes cheesy as hell backstage, but he is so much growth over that 1 year. Like that's the exciting part is if I didn't know these people, like with the old NXT, perfect. We knew 80% of the people that went through there from one place or another. So that is the exciting part.
The future.
Yeah.
The future.
Mr. Joe T, you got the Triple H DX shirt.
I gotta say, I agree a little bit with what Jason said. It's like he's a company man. He's not going to trash WWE. It's his family, but even if it wasn't, he's still not going to trash WWE. He's a student of the game. However, I don't believe he's being 100% truthful on this because he's a company man. He's going to say this was a plan all along, but he did mention something because I read it a couple times. He said it started off getting them ready on the WWE network. It didn't. So with this was a plan all along, but then they reboot the whole thing. If you're going to reboot it and you said that was a plan all along, I'd prefer it to be on Peacock right now while they get their basically moments out of there instead of being on national television. I wanted it to be on the streamer first to get that cult following, as he called the original NXT. It's like it built a cult fan base. And the old one too also had, it was him, Sean, but it was also Regal too. Regal not there hurts. Mm-hmm. With the NXT, building it up, but it's a different industry now because AEW has now become NXT 1.0.
Yeah.
Without the WWE umbrella, and we see how that's working out right now.
Right.
Do any of you watch Level Up on Fridays? NXT Level Up.
So I tried to, but on the network, it was like from a month ago. Like it wasn't the last episode. I was like, I didn't know if I was doing something wrong on the network. You know how
is it on their channel? Because Peacock has like the live channels too, and WWE has a channel on there.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So if you look at the live channels, they typically it was like what the old network did. They show what they had scheduled. Mm-hmm. I think they also do like the live shows at certain times as well. Maybe not WrestleMania per se, but like Level Up, things like that, and the Raw After Dark.
Yeah.
Raw Talk, sorry. Raw After Dark. Raw Underground.
So yeah, I'm calling a little BS. I think everything that Triple H said as far as how the direction is going, what it means for the roster and getting ready. Yes, that's the company line. He believes it. It's Vince's, declaration, fine and good, totally right. But I heard plenty of interviews when NXT was growing where he was like, this isn't developmental anymore. This is a third brand. And we want to have guys from SmackDown come down to NXT and NXT go up to Raw. And like, we're going to have the 3 rosters now. So, to say that was the plan all along, maybe in a roundabout way, it could have been the plan, but
and if that was, sorry to interrupt, Brian, but if that was the plan, Survivor Series 2019,
where the NXT brand won the team competition, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I don't think he's completely pulling things out of his ass or whatever. Everything, the direction is clear. And that's really the good thing, is because how many times have we questioned, like, oh no, these NXT guys were getting called up and they're getting ruined on the main roster. Well, that should be eliminated now, because everybody's on the same page as far as what Vince wants and what they should be doing in their developmental NXT. It's truly developmental. It's not a third brand. It's developmental. And they can, build from there and live happily ever after. Let's talk about the week of wrestling. Monday Night Raw was a Raw with a lot of wacky going on. Lie detector test.
Loved it.
I loved it because, Owens is amazing. I love that he's never convinced. Gable's incredible, right? So good at doing that. The weakest part of it is Ezekiel, right?
Weakest?
Yeah, I think
I
so.
loved it.
What?
How was he
Compared
weak?
to Owens and Gable, those guys are killing.
Well, you can't compare though. I mean, when Kevin Owens called Gable, it's like Mr. 2.0. No, it was a 4.0. Oh, whatever.
Yeah. When it's like when he was getting confused about the control question of like, no, see, that's a lie. That's like, no,
it was
that's
supposed
to be. Like that shit was hilarious. No, Ezekiel's playing it fine, right? It's fine.
Ezekiel was on Pat McAfee's show Monday.
I know you were raving about this.
I laughed my ass off because McAfee and AJ Hawk are trying to keep kayfabe, and they're trying to not laugh at the same time. Because they know, they're like, because McAfee and Elias are both Pittsburgh guys. And Ezekiel was saying, hey, I was in middle school when you guys were in high school, and like you guys wouldn't let me around. And McAfee's like, well, I think we would have remembered if Elias had a little brother. But and he was like, well, you guys used to do the poker games. He goes, yeah, and even AJ Hawk, who I don't think he gives a shit about wrestling other than McAfee related, but man, it was just fun. I made my wife watch it because I thought it was hilarious. And she found it funny, but not as much as I did. But yeah, and obviously the lie detector proved that Ezekiel and Elias are two different people. So KO just needs to back off, man.
Case closed.
Yeah.
Wedding madness. I put in my notes. Wedding madness. Wacky. What do you make of this guy? Are they married or not?
All I know is Tamina and Dana Brooke got me feeling a certain way there for a minute.
That was
some hot shit, man. I don't know if that's since I've been married for so long and the slightest interaction between two women. I don't know, but man, that was a little hot second there.
Like, I'll say this. Tamina is one tough looking lady, right? Like coming out in the leather and like her ring attire has never been
sexy.
Ever.
Yeah. They
made her look some makeup. They made her look very, like a nice looking Tamina. She didn't look scary. And that was, and she actually smiled and looked like she was really having fun. How many times can you really say Tamina looks like she's having fun? Like if you would have told me Azawa and Tamina would make me laugh, it did go on. It had to have been like 20 minutes, right? Like it was ridiculously long. But truth, part of him is because he kept on ad-libbing, adding, oh, that's another 3 minutes. Talking to the crowd. Well, that's another 2 minutes. Like
the truth,
it went too long.
They had a whole thing going on.
It was funny. Like it was
entertaining.
Really funny.
The ending was entertaining. And
didn't he say something? Well, that's not PG or something like
when
that.
It was Tamina and Dana. Yes.
Yeah.
No, I would have been, well, when that happened of like them getting together, I went, well, excuse me. I don't know. I don't know if any of it made sense. Will they be married on Monday? I don't know. Dana has the belt back, I think, right? The 24/7. So it all went around. So, hey, wacky fun, wedding fun. The finish of Cody and Kevin Owens was a count out. Seth was down there and Seth was trying to motivate Kevin, saying, get your fat ass into the ring. And
okay, I thought he said that, but I wasn't.
Yeah.
I didn't know if he said fat ass or not.
Yeah. And so Kevin took offense, like, hey, you're my friend. And he walked away. Joe, a count out finish. Were you cool with that?
No, I don't like count out finishes, especially to end the show. Not a fan of a count out finish to end the show. I mean, if it progresses a story, put it in the middle of the show like they did with MJF.
Okay, sure.
But to end it, I mean, come on, you got to think of like the main event, the last match of the night for the people who paid the money to be there is a count out. It's a cop out.
But was there? I'm sure there was like a tag team dark match after they went off the air to make up for that. So for the live crowd,
was there?
I'm sure there was some sort of tag or some sort of. Live.
It doesn't always happen.
It always happens.
Doesn't always.
Well, Cody was selling that push off the top rope on his leg.
Yeah.
I don't know if they. I mean, it could have been. Here comes our truth for the dark match. It doesn't matter, but you don't see that too often. I guess I was okay with it, but I hope that's not a reoccurring thing that'll keep coming up.
Well,
but how about the most feel? Oh, go ahead.
What if Cody would have beat KO?
What
if KO would have beat Cody? Like
that would have mattered.
That exactly. The one thing I liked right off the bat, right? Seth brings KO out. They hug each other. They look like they're bros, loving bros. And then at the end, the hatred kind of told a little story like that. I didn't totally hate the ending. Didn't love it, but I didn't mind it because it kind of puts another little domino in the Cody saga. But
the biggest event on Raw was Theory becoming the new U.S. champion.
Oh yeah, you're right.
The locker room emptied. The locker room emptied. Vince McMahon came out, and everyone that's bitching about the name thing, Riddle once had a first name too, and he's one of the most over people in the whole company. So chill out.
And didn't I say last week that Edge was a stupid name as well, and he became a champion? Talent always rises.
Yeah. No, that's true. I think I certainly saw that coming when they were doing the match. I go, Theory's winning this, and then he won. And that's cool. That's the footage that'll be on the Broken Skull sessions 5 years from now when he's like a 5-time champion, right?
And when Theory is the new John Cena.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's a good theory.
And headlining WrestleMania 40.
Yeah. All to come. I would not be surprised. NXT, I just want to bring up one thing on NXT. The Braun, the kind of the entire show of the Braun Breaker, Joe Gacy wackiness, and Braun's looking for him, and there's mirrors, and it's dark, and there's voices.
There's a cage.
Can I answer it?
At the end, I'm not feeling it, guys. And I'll tell you why. Joe Gacy, while he seems okay, it's not Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt takes that sort of thing and makes it fun and makes it cool and makes it interesting. I'm not feeling it with him.
And that's an interesting take because I thought the whole night that storyline was perfect.
Oh, it was the worst.
I loved it.
Worst.
I don't understand the Druids at the end, but that'll play out next week. But I loved it. I loved everything about it.
Oh, man. Okay. Good time.
I don't know if Gacy's trying to be Bray Wyatt, but I'm all in. He's more of like a serial killer.
No,
is he like
Go
Joe
Gacy?
Wayne
Exactly.
Gacy?
Yeah.
John Wayne
Gacy, right? John Wayne Gacy. Is that his name?
Yes. Yeah. So
the clown.
Love it. Perfection.
I don't know. And it's that, but it's also for me, for Braun, I think keep it simple. And so for him doing the, like, I'm in the cage or in the room with mirrors going, what is this? Like, just come out and smash people, man. You're talented. I don't need your method acting just yet. Let's wait down the road. Didn't do it for me. Joe, any thoughts?
I kind of thought it was silly as well, but again, it's developmental. I'm not really putting too much investment into NXT 2.0.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a show that should be called NXT 2.0. Wait and see.
Yeah, indeed. We very well may be getting my girl Nikita versus Natalia. Oh boy, I'll be glued to the television for that. Did you guys see that little interaction they had? I'm all right with that. I'll see my girl.
Nice hat, Natty.
My girl, Thicky Steamboat. Nice.
No, it's Thicky the Dragon Creamboat.
That's not in my five count. That's a whole nother thing.
That ain't PG.
No, that's right. You got that right, pal.
You know what else isn't PG? The RK Bro 420 shirts they sold on WWE Shop on 420, and Orton got him to extend it to 421. It may be there today on 422. I don't know. I did not buy it, but yeah, Rob Van Dam's somewhere pissed off to no end, I'm sure.
It's like, God damn it, Vince. I thought of that 15 years ago.
No, everything's cool when you're RVD. He doesn't care. He's like, whatever.
Did you guys see the Vince McMahon shirt they put up on sale? It's Vince McMahon, no chance in Vegas, and it comes with a $1 billion bill, and the combo is $100.
Yeah, I
For
saw
a moment.
The $1 billion bill was $99. And I'm like, there's jokes aplenty with that.
For one moment, I almost bought it. And I still might, but yeah, it's up there now, or at least it was earlier today. We're recording on Thursday. So.
Thankfully, Harley started to bite your leg or something to distract you.
Yeah, it's tempting.
Making that purchase. Let's move ahead to AEW. So, good old Tony Khan, another huge announcement. Every week there's one, but this one's noteworthy. We're gonna have an AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling joint pay-per-view. Speaking of 420, this summer, AEW, NJPW, Forbidden Door, they're calling it. It's going to take place live on Sunday, June 26th, the United Center in Chicago, featuring marquee matchups between members of AEW and New Japan's world-class rosters. We've touched a little bit on it that I don't think any of us are fully invested in New Japan. Right. You know, we're there's that, at least I can speak for myself with that it's very, you know, you kind of see things occasionally, but it's not something I can invest my time in. But I wanted to get your guys' excitement level for this. Is there a match when you heard about this and you're like, oh, that would be cool to see? Anything like that?
So AEW, if it would have been possible, should have done this 3 years ago. I understand new company, New Japan isn't going to deal with that. But if it was when AEW first formed, it could have been the potential for a lot of American audiences to see Kenny Omega for the first time through his New Japan connections. However, what AEW is doing with this supercard and this partnership with New Japan is what they should be doing. Playing to their audience. Look, as of late, no ratings talk, no demo god talk, no WWE mentions, just playing the hits that the AEW Super Indie crowd is into. And look, I like New Japan. If it's on, I'll try to watch it. I know some of the competitors over there. The big match everybody's talking about is CM Punk against Kenta, the former Hideo Itami, in NXT, because they both use the go to sleep.
Yep.
I was so thrilled that Adam Cole made the announcement, because the less time Tony talks on the microphone, the better, because he is very awkward. So if Forbidden Door is a yearly thing, I think it could be cool. But for this first one, I'm going to buy the pay-per-view.
Okay. Kev?
I I don't watch it that often, New Japan,
Yeah.
right? I like watching if I go on 411 and, you know, and or if there's a pop-up of like a news update and somebody's going to go over there and wrestle. I think the last time I watched it is it Wrestle Kingdom? What
Sure.
they do?
Yeah,
Yep, that's
they
it.
do.
Jericho Omega. And that was like, because I remember
4 years
I was still
ago, 5
living in
years ago.
Louisville. I was still living in Louisville, and I watched it like late night. That was my first time and my last time sitting down and watching like multiple hours of New Japan. And the nice thing is, primarily Jericho was there, so it will be cool kind of seeing more New Japan guys, you know, go against the guys that I see on a regular basis. Maybe it'll get me more, you know, inclined to watch or invest my time to watch more. There's just so much wrestling.
What I hear you
already.
saying, Kevin, is that since we're doing the SummerSlam road trip, you want to do a Wrestle Kingdom road trip to Japan in January. That's what I think I hear you saying. So that's pretty awesome.
It'd be a lot of travel.
But
I think it's very cool. I think it would be what AEW does 3 pay-per-views right now.
4.
4. So that, hey, if they do, they just call, like Jay, you said, AEW Forbidden Door. Doesn't even need to be New Japan. Just put AEW Forbidden Door. Let them go against another company's all-stars in like a format. Doesn't have to be, we're going to go against Impact. We're going to go against XYZ. Just keep it wide open. And that's like the one-time event where they, you know, bridge off from their normal AEW.
But it's not a one-time event. But it's not a one-time event because the Ring of Honor guys are in and out. The New Japan guys are in and out. The Impact guys are in and out.
True.
So doing it with New Japan specifically, I think it's cool. We might get another Okada Omega match if Omega is back in time. Now, if you're not familiar, guys, Omega and Okada had a couple 60-minute classics. I think they even got 6 stars from Meltzer in a 5-star system. I don't know if Kenny will be back, but I think it's
what's that 9-year-old? Didn't Kenny have a match with a 9-year-old back in the day? What is she now, like 15,
I've seen that clip,
16?
yeah.
Maybe she'll wrestle against
maybe
Kenny.
that, big rematch.
her and -1 can intergender.
Yeah, and
Underage
from
Nicholas
the tag title match.
Well, he's that guy. He got signed to AEW. He's that guy from Defy, the 16-year-old.
Oh, that's right.
That was Nicholas, the tag team champ.
Yes.
Went to Defy, and he got an
There we
AEW deal when he turns 18.
Yeah.
So.
Joe, speak. You're a quiet man on this one.
Well, I'm just listening in. And it's
I
I'm
know.
cool. I'm cool with
so engaging. I get it.
you are. That's like, come on.
He was
But
sleeping.
No, I was not sleeping. I was waiting patiently, and the only announcement was cool. I love the fact that it's they are finally playing to their audience and not trying to bash WWE, even though Britt's promo was a little bit like that, but that's not neither here or there. I would like for when Jay White to come out and say, basically, instead of calling them the Undisputed Elite, why don't we just say what they are? They're the Bullet Club US.
Bullet Club.
Bullet Club New Japan, Bullet Club AEW, make the shirts, make it happen. Because when I hear AEW, and when I hear Undisputed Elite, I'm just thinking knock off Undisputed Era. Get over it. You're the Bullet Club. We all know it.
There's Bullet Club in Impact. So that's
why. But that's another door that's already been opened too. So why not have Bullet Club in? They could have a working relationship with them too. Why not? Wasn't there Bullet Club in Ring of Honor as well?
Yeah.
So
well, yeah.
Why can't we just stop calling them? They're the Bullet Club. Period.
Yeah, I was gonna say that is like a kind of a give a prop to Impact, because while we don't get to really talk about them too much, because in full transparency, we're recording usually when it's on. But yeah, they have New Japan guys there all the time. So they've really, so in that sense, this announcement doesn't seem so groundbreaking to me. Like some people online seem to be thinking of, oh my God, it's happening. It's like, it's kind of has already been happening. So, okay. The one name I would really like to see, because I've really only seen clips of him and know how well revered he is, and it doesn't matter who his AEW opponent would be, Will Osprey.
Mhm.
Will Osprey is a guy that is just really, really well regarded, being incredibly talented. I would love to see him on U.S. soil. You know, it doesn't matter, again, who. It could be a Hangman. I don't care. But yeah, that's the one guy, because when New Japan really had this resurgence a couple of years ago, it was with these guys that are in AEW and Cody too now, right? Who's in WWE. But yeah, it was because of Omega and the Bucks and the Bullet Club. That's what made New Japan get this higher profile, along with the guys like Okada and guys like that. But so a lot of them, I feel like I've already kind of been exposed to. So when this card comes together, it's going to be a lot of New Japan guys that I'm like, I don't really know too much about you. And so, you know, we'll see what comes of that. But yeah, that was a worthy enough announcement from Tony Khan.
Finally, a good one.
Yes, yeah, no, for sure.
Finally, one that lives up to the word huge.
Yeah, we also had a little stare down after the opening match of CM Punk, Dustin Rhodes, where Hangman Page came out, and they just did a little stare down and walked away. So maybe that's where we're headed for the next pay-per-view. Go ahead, Mr. Shirt. Mr. Shirt, what do you have to say?
At this point, like I said, I'm tired of watching CM Punk beat everybody. I really feel like he should just be more of an attraction than a title contender. Let him wrestle every week, but he shouldn't need, he doesn't need the title. And I mean, it's obvious he's gonna win the title. You know, it was one of Tony Khan's favorite wrestlers, and now he has him as, you know, one of his favorite wrestling figures in his fig fed, and it's what's gonna happen. I hope not, but what is it, Joe? You can never say 100%.
You never say 100%.
I don't know, man. Like, I thought the match against Dustin was a lot of fun. I don't want to see him win the belt. I don't.
So I'm taking the opposite stance. Not that I disagree with you, but guys, I haven't been I've come to the conclusion I haven't been feeling Hangman Page as champion too much.
That's what I was gonna say. Yep.
Just haven't. The feud with Archer, you know, you knew he was gonna win it because he just won the title, even though they had that great Texas death match. That was great. And the Adam Cole one, it never got to where I thought it'd be. I don't know. Never got to where I thought it'd be for my enjoyment. This makes it interesting to me because it is Punk. I feel like there's something that is going to take it to another level. And you know what I hope he does? Because please correct me if I'm wrong. Is he drinking beer anymore?
I haven't seen it.
Because he's barely out. He comes out for a second, and that's it. Like, Hangman Page is like the weakest champion, period, from his bad booking.
You said like, that there's about only Omega too.
Bad booking. In my opinion, there's only been one good champ in AEW, and it was Moxley. No, yeah, Jericho was good to start it off. Yeah, I'll give you that. Yeah. But they started strong, and after Moxley lost it, Omega was a weak champ, and Hangman's barely on.
I know.
Was he at Dark? What?
They should have let Cole win last week on the death match on on Rampage. Give Rampage a little juice.
Okay, that's fair.
And because it was live. When it's a live Rampage, they need to shake some things up. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to see Punk with the title. I want to see Lance Archer. I want to see Miro. I want to see a homegrown become the heavyweight champion.
Let's see MJF be the champ.
MJF, yes.
Why can't he be champ? Why does it have to be like the elite?
WWE had retreads.
And why does CM Punk have to start what's it been 5 straight weeks of CM Punk cult of personality starting, and then AEW fans are complaining that Raw and SmackDown are predictable with the promo. AEW is following the same format. CM Punk
and the show opener lately,
and then you have a promo, and then you have a backstage segment with the elite, and then you have a match, and then
an 8-foot Indian guy. You know, they're copying WWE left and right.
Yeah, they're I'm not feeling CM Punk, and I'm definitely not feeling Hangman Page, which is sad because it's like I'm a fan of both, but they're not doing anything for me in AEW.
He's missing the beer. Guys, it's the beer. That's what we loved about this guy, where he was just what the fuck, dude? You're drinking the beer and you're pissed off his friends.
That's why he's not drinking the people's beer anymore.
Bring it back. I want the beer, and then I'm gonna be back on board. I think that's what's missing for me. That he's now this just I'm the champ. I'm a nice guy. Yippee-ki-yay cowboy shit. I don't know. It's missing for me. I want the beer. Kev, what do you think, bud?
I was gonna say, I'm a huge Hangman fan. Him chasing the belt.
Yeah, right. The chase
that's
was
the thing.
Great.
The chase was great, and it's just kind of boring
because he was drinking.
I wouldn't. If between those two, I want CM Punk. I do want CM Punk to win. Just somehow down the road, we get CM Punk MJF for the title. Make it count. Throw CM Punk against Wardlow. You know what I mean? Something like
they already did that.
Well, put it again. That's the thing is. If CM Punk gets it and somehow loses it to MJF, that'd be awesome.
And CM Punk wins, give him the fucking heel turn. That would make it interesting.
Sure. Yeah.
Not this smiley, I wear my dog on my hoodie, want to elevate the guys, make him a fucking heel champion. Because bad guy
elevating?
Are
who's he elevating? Nobody.
Punk?
Yeah.
Doesn't know. Yeah, no one.
Daniel Garcia? No, I don't know. I just because that's his thing, right? He's there to elevate.
Yeah,
Terry Funk.
He's won every
ECW's Terry Funk of AEW.
He's won every single match except for MJF.
He's the John Cena of AEW.
That's right. Yeah, that's what I was trying to get. He's now the New York Yankees. Yeah.
Wow.
That's where it is right now. And listen, you to bring it a full circle for me. Punk is straight edge. Hangman, bring out the beer and start just start chugging in front of him. Let's go. Let's say fuck you. I'm drinking.
Triple threat with Jeff Hardy.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
That's really all right. What?
Throw Hogan in there and then throw Goldberg in there.
Kevin Nash is referee.
Hogan's just lucky he didn't run into our Kevin in Clearwater 2 weeks ago. Or else
I'm coming after your brother.
These future matches would be off the table.
Dude, Hogan's Beach, their Facebook page with all of their karaoke videos. Hulk is sitting literally right next to the stage every week, Kevin. You missed your chance because your mother-in-law's drinking was way too much that night.
Do you know what my drinking caused? Remember when you guys want me to buy you glasses?
You forgot.
I did.
But you told me you bought it. You literally said on camera, I got it.
I said I didn't want one.
I said I wanted one.
Yeah, but so no, listen. The same exact price is online, and they reduced it online with shipping.
Yeah, there you go.
Cheap
next,
bastard.
Finding the deals. Well, next, we've talked a lot on this show a couple weeks about all the name changes. Walter, Raquel Rodriguez, it goes on and on, right? So we've got some little more official clarification about why this has been happening. Vince McMahon reportedly introduced a new decree in WWE that prohibits superstars from using their real names or ones they've used outside the company, with a few exceptions. According to Brian Alvarez of Wrestling Observer Live, the chairman of the board doesn't want performers to be established under their real names in WWE and then use it in other promotions if they leave the company. The powers that be feel it's better to come up with new names for the superstars that they can trademark. So it all comes down to the copyrights, all comes down to trademarks. Totally get it. So we, as a show, we decided to play Vince and come up with our own name for this week's 5 Count.
That Wrestling Podcast presents the 5 Count.
Yeah, what we decided to do was each of us could pick any 5 guys or girls in NXT and create their new name. So one new name for each wrestler. Who would like to go first?
I'll go first. I always go first.
All three of you.
You don't want to go. Just get it out of the way.
Go ahead, Joe.
Go ahead.
I'll go first. Why not? Number 5. I said it earlier last year. I'm bringing it back. Dakota Kai, Asuka. I want to see it. She's going to be Asuka's long lost sister, Asuka.
Nice.
Number 4 is just flat out stupid. That's why I love it, because they went with Butch. Grayson Waller is now going to go by the name, his full name. Grayson was not his real name. His real name, his first name Waller, middle name Waller, last name Washington. So he can go Waller Washington.
Oh my God. Triple W over here. Okay.
Yeah, triple W. Yeah, 3W.
There's a trend I see.
Where's he from? Walla Walla, Washington.
That's right.
Number 3. I think Kevin might get this one. I don't know if anyone else will. Dexter Loomis needs a new need a new name. Trinity.
Yeah, I like it.
Or if his real name, Arthur Mitchell. One of the two.
Art's a great name.
Kevin, what's that from?
Best season of Dexter, season 4.
Best season of Dexter.
Thank you, John
The
Lithgow.
Trinity killer was Arthur Miller. So Dexter, Trinity.
Didn't Arthur Miller write Game of Thrones?
No, that was George R. Martin.
Yeah.
Same thing.
You had
Not
the
even
R
close.
in there. You're still thinking about Rated Archer from last
R.
Yeah, Archer. Number 2, Indy Hartwell. Got to go with her now. If Dexter's going to name change, Indy has to. And it's going to be, instead of Indy Hartwell, Harriet Ford.
Is there something I'm missing?
Indiana Jones. Indy, Harrison Ford.
Got it. Yes,
Indy Hartwell will now be Harriet Ford.
Thank you.
And then finally, the last one, Cameron Grimes. You got to change your name. We called you it anyway. Might as well make it official. We like one-word names. Grimy.
Beautiful. Well, we're off to a good start here. Go ahead, Jay. You can go next.
So for number 5, for Braun Breaker, if he goes to the main roster, I really feel like they're going to call him Rex Steiner. I think it makes the most sense because of his lineage.
Yep.
That makes a lot of sense on the main roster, where it may not for people who watch NXT that don't know who the Steiner brothers are. I do feel like the Braun Breaker this year is the only reason the Steiner brothers got put into the Hall of Fame, but I cannot confirm that. Number 4, the Creed brothers. They will be named Rod and Todd Simpson. Lineage from Scott Simpson, world-class championship wrestling superstar in Dallas in the late 80s.
Wow.
Number 4. This one, I wasn't sure which one, Nikita Lyons or Tiffany Stratton. Rain Stratus. Have some sort of connection to Trish Stratus.
Yep.
And it would be R-A-I-N, not R-E-I-G-N. Number 2, Malik Blade. Not sure if you're familiar with him. He was the guy that was obsessed with Mandy Rose and wanted to ask Mandy Rose on a date.
Oh, yeah.
Gonna keep Malik because I think that's a cool name. Malik Glass, I think, is a cool name. And number 1, Grayson Waller, my guy.
You got a high bar to beat with Waller Washington.
Yeah, I'm not going there. I'm going real, like legit real. So because of the gimmick he has, his last name has to be Paul.
Yeah.
There's a Jake Paul. There's a Logan Paul. But there's no Paul that starts with the letter K. So Grayson Waller becomes Chris Paul with a K. That's my number 1.
Okay.
I've got a bunch of others, but you know.
Save them for TWP After Dark.
After hours.
Kev, you mind if I go next?
Yep. You
I'll
go
let you
right
wrap
ahead.
it up.
Kevin's just not prepared. That's why.
Yeah, give you more
That's
time
why
to
he's like,
come up with some names.
Kevin got 30.
Oh, boy.
No, I got. Oh, I'm ready.
They're all
33.
MJF.
Number 5, Cora Jade. So she comes out with a skateboard, right? So let's tie into that. Her name is Avril Ollie. She's like Avril Lavigne. She's a skater boy, and an Ollie is like the only skateboard move I remember doing.
Skater girl, Avril.
Music,
Ollie.
Nickelback, her ex-husband.
That's right. Number 4, Dexter Loomis. So you'll have to judge it between Trinity and Arthur Miller, but I wanted him to tap into his dark side when he was, before Indy. He was, very like just cold and like, whoa, this guy's demented. So I went with Manson Snow. Manson Snow. Typing like a little, Charles Manson. Snow is very cold. That's a nice cheesy name. Number 3, Cameron Grimes. Love Grimy, don't get me wrong.
That's a good one.
But I'm playing into his Southern hillbilly name and his lineage there. His new name is Ricky Carolina.
Jesus Christ. It's hard, people. We are proving
Ricky
how hard
Carolina.
it is to come up with names.
He's going to the Mars.
Wasn't he on Southpaw Regional Wrestling?
He faced Sea Monster, I think. Number 2, Mandy Rose. I mean, clearly been established for a long time, but when I see her, I think of strippers. So I'm giving her a stripper name. Destiny Lust. Destiny to the stage. Destiny Lust.
Coming to the stage.
Yes. And number 1, love this guy's name. Don't touch it. Carmelo Hayes. It's a great name. But if you want something a little more catchy, you can go with my choice. Juju Carter Williams, better known as JCW. So the crowd can chant Juju or JCW, JCW. That's my number 1.
I thought it was going to be like LeBron something. Or
yeah,
I had a LeBron thing for Carmelo Hayes, and I'm like, nah.
Thought about that too. Yeah.
I like your Cameron Grimes to the moonshine.
Yes, that's more appropriate.
Mine, number 5. This is probably the most unoriginal. I just think he should come on. Last name Steiner, Jay, just like you. Take Braun with it. Real name Bronson. Take the Braun Steiner. A little bit with the history, with his dad and uncle, and then boom, right? Everyone's going to realize him as Braun. They're not going to change him too much. He is the star of NXT. I can see that legitimately happening.
Let's see what happens after those Druids.
I mean, those Druids got
him at the end of the last show.
Real name, Davion Everhart Aiken. NXT, Wesley, right? First name, last name. Mm-hmm. Put them together, Wesley Sprints. He's fast in the ring.
Yeah.
Sprints with a Z.
Yes, with a Z. That's what I'm talking about.
Von Wagner, real name, Cal Bloom, Big Van Justice. I feel give him like a something like that, make him a monster.
That's better.
Boom.
I like it.
I'm going to leave. I originally had this for number 2, but you mentioned the radio. I'm going to switch these around. Before we go on air tonight, Brett and I were watching the movie Blank Check. Have you guys ever watched Blank Check?
Heard of it, never watched
Disney
it.
Movie, terrible. Cameron Grimes, real name Trevor Cadell. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that last name right. Preston Checks, the main character in the movie. His name is Preston. I just thought kind of mix in with a little bit of his multiple personas that he's played in NXT. And then number 1, Grayson Waller. He was on Australia's version of Survivor. Real name Matthew Fairley. We were all in radio, guys. Brian, you were Brian.
No,
Joe,
he wasn't. He was Chris Bryan.
Oh, and you were Burger.
Yeah, I was Burger. In Youngstown,
Joe,
Ohio, is
more,
Chris Bryan. That's right.
I was when I was like doing the sports, it was Young Joe without a last name because they couldn't pronounce it. I was Young Joe with no last name.
Wait, they called you that?
Yeah.
So that was longer than what your last name actually is.
Yes. Because they couldn't pronounce it was sports guys. So they're like, we keep messing up your name. So, and I was about 20 years younger than everyone. So yeah.
Well, this is perfect because I look at Grayson Waller, boxing shorts. He looks like a sports guy, super athletic. Jason, when I knew you in radio, your name was Jason Jacks. Yeah. Grayson Waller will now become Jason Jocks. Number one.
I had a lot of names over the years. Like, I don't know if any of you have ever watched or you listening have watched WKRP in Cincinnati. Mm-hmm. Dr. Johnny Fever. He had a mug with all of his last names on it. He was Johnny, whatever. Man. I've had a lot of names. When I did hip hop, I was Mark West, the least hip hop name of all time.
Why is it called Keith?
I was Jason Williams at one point.
White
my first job, they gave me the name Grizz, which was stupid. It made no sense. I like LA Knight. I made the most of what I was given, and I had high ratings. I turned the station image around. Lost some advertisers along the way, but then typical radio fashion, got let go for a budget cut. Radio names are ridiculous. I don't know if anybody still uses them. I know the people I work with in radio, they just have their regular names.
So everyone that goes by Mojo, that's their birth certificate name.
That's on the birth certificate.
Mo Allen Joe.
MOE. All right. Hey, if you have a suggestion, like the voice guy's about to say, tweet us at thatwrestlepod. If you have a great name suggestion using the hashtag TWP5count.
Who made your 5 count? Let us know on social media using the hashtag TWP5count.
Okay, that's going to wrap up this week's show. Real quick, make sure you check out the TWP Extra that we posted a few short days ago with the athletic.
Good job, Brian, by the way. I want to give you your props. Good job.
Thank you.
Good chat with Jason Jones.
Yeah, Jason's good people out there in California and doing his thing. He's no longer covering the Sacramento Kings, and that's probably good for his health and his self-esteem and well-being. But he's doing really good things with the Athletic, and he's got his wrestling pod that he's doing with his son now. Who, if you ever
have you heard him with his son?
Yeah. Oh, his son is just like every other kid of just like, Roman Reigns is the reigning, defending. He's so into it. Like, you cannot get away from his enthusiasm on everything. And
what's the name of that podcast again?
Yeah, it's called Yes, I'm Watching Wrestling. He claims he's going to change it to Yes, We're Watching Wrestling, but that's not as of a recording time. But thanks to Jason for doing that.
Thanks, dude.
Definitely check in with him.
I'm actually working on a TWP Extra for myself. Hopefully I can get it done and up next week, but I'm not going to give anything away yet because I don't want to spoil it, especially if it does not happen. So keep checking socials at That WrestlePod and our YouTube, and subscribe to the podcast feed. And if you already are, because you're listening, tell somebody.
Yeah.
Leave a comment. We need all of that. We're a year in. We're doing okay. We could definitely be doing a lot better. So comments, rates, reviews, subscribe, tell your friends. Everything helps. Everything helps. Buy a shirt at whatamaneuver.net. That'd be cool too. So
all of that is all good things, and we appreciate you listening or watching us on the YouTube. Enjoy wrestling. Have a good week. We will talk to you real soon on That Wrestling Podcast.
Thanks for listening. Follow That WrestlePod on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube.
1, 2, 3. That's it.